Tonight rocked again the Hunter Valley, shaken by a new earthquake, the second in as many days.
The mystery death of a man, his body found slumped on a park bench in Sydney's west.
Premiers of different stripes joined together to celebrate a metro milestone, but where's Gladys?
A huge manhunt in Germany after a stabbing rampage at a festival leaves at least 3 dead.
Nearly a century of history gone in seconds, a historic pub reduced to ashes.
And a season changer for Penrith as the Raiders snatch an amazing victory.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Michael Usher and Angie Asimus.
Well, good evening. We begin with breaking news. Hundreds of residents in the Hunter Valley have felt a powerful aftershock barely a day after a destructive quake.
The latest tremor felt just a short time ago was felt here in Sydney. Angela Gopi joins us live with more. Angel, it's not the first aftershock.
Angie, the area has experienced minor shakes all day. This 4.5 magnitude earthquake was reported just after 4:30 this afternoon in Denman near Muswellbrook. Close to 600 people so far have said they felt the shake from the Central Coast and as far south as Manly too. There have been no new reports of damage so far. The tremor was relatively shallow, 10 kilometres below the Earth's surface. The earthquake from yesterday caused blackouts, but today's aftershock has left more than 2,500 people without water. Muswellbrook Shire Council says staff are working to restore supply as soon as possible. The Weather Bureau says there's no tsunami threat.
All right, Angela Gopi there in the newsroom. Thank you for that. Well, police are pouring through security footage and appealing for help to solve a mystery after a man was found dead in an Auburn park.
The grim scene stumbled upon by a passerby this morning, but tonight police are still trying to notify the man's family.
Forensic teams seal off the centre of Auburn this morning after a man's bloodied body was found on a park bench.
Police attended, performed CPR on the male and were unable to revive him. At that point in time, we've established a crime scene. We're treating it as suspicious.
The discovery made just before 7 beside a busy train station and children's playground.
It's sad as well, something bad happened like right in front of our shop and someone just lost their life.
He has an injury to the back of his head. How that injury was caused, we don't know.
His identity a mystery until late this afternoon. Homicide detectives have formed a strike force to try to determine how he died, investigating all possibilities, including if he was sleeping rough and attacked, or if he was involved in a fight elsewhere, even hit by a vehicle. Another line of inquiry, simple misadventure. He was alone and fell badly overnight, hitting his head.
It's too early for us to establish. We don't really know.
Because of how much police don't know at this stage, forensic tests and the results of an autopsy will be crucial in determining what happened here. Was this a violent crime or simply a sad accident?
They also want help. Anyone around Auburn Memorial Park overnight who saw the man, who was 40, of Indian or subcontinental appearance and a slim build, wearing black shorts and a blue and white checked jacket.
I'd encourage them to contact Crime Stoppers for us if anyone has any information that would assist this.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
Sydney's new metro has hit a milestone, 1 million passengers in just 5 days.
A special family event helped drive the numbers up even further today as unions threaten possible trouble down the track.
Handshakes all round, premiers present and past, putting politics aside for the metro.
It's a real buzz for me. I don't know how these guys feel, but it feels historic.
The metro's official opening, Labor names on the plaque, but largely built by Liberal governments.
Not everyone was for it in 2015.
Just remember that, we had a pretty tough election.
We played a very small role in this, let's be honest.
A big role played by former Premier Gladys Berejiklian, invited but unable to attend. Metro construction workers were there and their proud families.
The best Australian transport ever.
A huge week for its designer.
Really emotional and positive week, and I'm just overwhelmed by the scale of reaction.
More than 1 million passengers in 5 days. Today, all of Sydney invited to see for themselves.
I think it's fantastic.
The kids impressed by speed.
Like about 200 kilometres per hour. I like the coolness, like as in the coldness.
Family Day.
I think it opens up the city amazingly.
And so far, efficiently.
Certainly the first week has gone fantastically well. We've had almost 100% performance from the system.
Despite a stop work this weekend by Metro electricians.
If the actions keep continuing, it could potentially put the Metro at risk. The ball's in the Premier's court.
The Premier says he's working on it.
Governments that come and go, demonstrating how long it takes to build major infrastructure, with 3 more Sydney metros on the way.
Metros under construction, the Bankstown extension, St Mary's to the new airport, then City to Parramatta.
We've got an ambitious metro building agenda.
With all sides of politics on board. Chris Marr, 7 News.
A woman has been charged with the murder of a 63-year-old man whose body was found discovered in a surfboard bag dumped on a driveway on the mid-north coast. The homicide squad spent the day searching his Nambucca Heads home, an hour from where his body was found.
Mark Myers, a gentle man with a generous soul.
He's got the biggest heart. All of his neighbours around him all loved him. His family and his friends all love him. He's just the man that you could always count on if you ever needed help.
But the 62-year-old was murdered. His body stuffed into a surfboard bag and dumped in the driveway of a Darkwood property, 75 kilometres from his Nambucca Heads home, discovered by residents on Thursday night.
I tried calling him last night and his phone just went straight to message bank. And then I came out here and I seen all cop cars and police tape around his house.
His alleged killer, 35-year-old Lisa Cummings, who had moved into his house only a month ago. She was arrested at the home last night. What happened there, police won't say.
I can't go into the nature of those injuries, the cause or the time of death at this stage.
The 62-year-old often opened his home to those in need.
He helped me get a job. He took me underneath his wing, took me in his home. He helped me until I got back up on my feet.
Once a safe house, now a crime scene. And as forensics collect any evidence that could explain why he was killed, his community is forced to come to terms with the loss of a much-loved man.
Whatever's happened to him has hurt so many people.
Lucy McLeod, 7 News.
A woman has fought off armed thieves during a break and enter in Sydney's west. 3 masked men, at least one armed with a knife, were trying to steal her car in Cranebrook at around 5 this morning. She confronted them and in a struggle suffered a cut to her hand. They ran off, leaving the knife behind on the driveway. Security pictures show the men casing neighbouring properties around Laycock Street. A desperate manhunt is underway in Germany tonight after a deadly stabbing frenzy at a festival in the country's west. At least 3 people are dead, several others wounded, and the armed attacker behind it all is still on the run.
In the city's main square, bodies lie covered, surrounded by emergency workers, the aftermath of a random terror attack. It was supposed to be a diversity festival, a celebration of a city, but it ended tragically by a man with a knife. The attack happened in Solingen, in the west of Germany. The festival included music acts in the centre of town. Witnesses say at 9:45 p.m, a lone man with a knife began attacking people at the front of a stage. 3 people are believed to have been killed, with 4 others seriously injured. Armed police quickly surrounded the site, but the attacker had fled.
Stay calm, but keep your eyes open because the perpetrator is still on the run.
We would like to have a precise description of the perpetrator. That is difficult. Witnesses are in shock or can't speak at the moment.
The city's mayor posted on Facebook, "Tonight we are all in shock, fright and great sadness. We all wanted to celebrate our city anniversary together, and now we have to mourn the dead and injured. Breaks my heart that there was an assassination attack on our town."
We have not been informed of any motives. We are, of course, still in urgent need of witnesses. Videos, photos, we'll take anything.
A town now grieving as the man responsible remains on the run. In London, Joel Dry, 7 News.
Fire investigators are trying to work out if an arsonist was responsible for a shed fire in Sydney's northwest. Emergency crews first heard reports of a house fire in Marsden Park late last night before arriving to find it was a shed that was up in flames. The blaze was extinguished a short time later, no injuries there. Australia's Ukrainian community is tonight marking the country's Independence Day against the backdrop of Russia's ongoing invasion of their homeland.
Kyiv's forces are gaining ground, renewing calls for the Albanese government to step up military aid to help bring the conflict to an end.
Outside the Russian embassy in Canberra, the Friends of Ukraine commemorate independence with a direct message for those trying to take it away.
Everything stops for a Russian diplomat. I think it's really important. I'm sure they don't like it. Ukrainians are resilient, they're strong, they have a strong sense of identity.
That strength on show with Kyiv's surprise counter-offensive into Russia's cursed region. New Vision shows Ukrainian airstrikes pounding enemy platoons, but they're up against Putin's drones and the war is far from over.
The Ukrainian military has shown us they can surprise the Russians, but to sustain that kind of momentum, they need equipment.
Calls growing for Australia to send 60 Abrams tanks and 22 Tiger helicopters due for retirement from our military. But the opposition fears a repeat of the Taipan helicopters that ended up on the scrap heap rather than the front line.
There seems to have been a real lack of strategy, lack of planning from the Albanese government when it comes to Ukraine.
Australia has given $1.3 billion of support in total. Prime Minister Albanese penning an open letter to Ukrainians on their Independence Day, saying we are proud to continue to empower Ukraine to end the war on its own terms. India's Prime Minister offering to help broker peace during a visit to Kyiv, giving fresh hope to Ukrainians around the world.
With the support of the free world, we will defeat the enemy.
Josh Martin, 7 News.
A historic pub, almost a century old, has been destroyed by fire. With just one fire crew battling the flames, it took almost 50 minutes for backup to reach the isolated Queensland town. But by then, it was too late.
Almost a century of history destroyed within hours. Baralabar Hotel, the icon of a tiny town since 1929.
The stressing scenes here this morning in Baralabar, the pub's a whole thing for the community. It's just the whole social fabric of a little country town.
The blaze broke out just after 2 this morning at the front of the property.
The siren went off and everything, the smoke detectors, everything was working perfect.
With just one local crew battling the blaze alone, forced to wait 50 minutes for backup to reach the isolated town.
Distance and travel was against us on this one. Fire was well involved when we arrived.
It took more than 3 hours to extinguish. By then, the roof had collapsed. The cornerstone of Baralabar gone. 13 people had been staying at the hotel.
We had 11 adults and 2 children evacuated from the premises.
And one of them tried to put it out with the fire extinguisher.
Unsuccessful, they ran outside. All 13 were assessed by paramedics. Fortunately, none of them needed treatment. The owner taking in the huge loss, too devastated to speak on camera today.
Doing their meat raffles last night, everything fine. Look around here this morning, it's a terrible scene.
The hotel was first licensed in April 1929, just a few years after the tiny coal mining town got its first and only hospital.
Definitely a huge loss to the community, a social point, meeting place for the local community. Yeah, it's been a fair blow.
Jordan Bissell, 7 News.
Donald Trump has won over an unlikely ally as he tries to wrestle back momentum in the run to America's November election. The former president has enlisted Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who ends his own presidential campaign. The new alliance angering others in the Kennedy family.
The Kennedys, a Democrat dynasty. Until today.
He is a great person. I've known him for so long.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on stage with and heaping praise on Republican rival Donald Trump.
And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country?
The appearance infuriating Kennedy family members, including RFK's younger sister, Kerry.
I'm outraged and disgusted by my brothers got in obscene embrace of Donald Trump.
She says their dad, Democrat Bobby Kennedy, assassinated in 1968, would detest almost everything about Donald Trump. Now the younger Bobby has suspended his own independent campaign for the presidency to help Trump in America's key battleground states.
Robert F. Kennedy Sr. would be rolling over in his grave.
Polls show Kennedy's share of the vote shrinking below 5%, but in a tight election, his supporters could help Trump. This as the Harris campaign uses new advertising.
Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in.
To build on the immigrant family story featured in Kamala Harris's address yesterday to about 30 million viewers around the US. From the Democrats' showcase convention here to September 10th, America's next big election event, the Harris-Trump debate. In Chicago, Tim Lester, 7 News.
Well, time to check the weather now with Amber Laidler. Amber, good evening to you. A few showers at the start, but a great day.
Michael, Angie, good evening. Yeah, it was cloudy to start the day with a few passing showers over the city early, as you can see here. But by the afternoon, skies cleared, making way for plenty of sunshine. The majority of the wet weather impacted Sydney during the early hours of this morning. Falls were generally light, just a few millimetres recorded over the past 24 hours. But across Sydney this afternoon, in fact, across New South Wales today, it was very warm. Maximums across southern half of the coastline and inland centres marked the warmest August day in more than a decade. It's all due to an unusually hot air mass spreading over central Australia into New South Wales, and there is more hot weather on the way. Your detailed outlook coming up soon, Angie and Michael.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Amber. It was the moment that shocked drivers on the M5, a car plunging from an overpass onto the busy motorway after the driver lost control. The shock new video next.
Also, the real reason the opening of the Parramatta light rail has been delayed.
A multi-million-dollar gem in Sydney with a view to die for, up for sale.
An emotional goodbye for a young Taylor Swift fan.
And later, the man on a mission to provide footy boots for children across the outback. It was the shocking car plunge that so nearly ended in a motorway tragedy. Now dashcam video of the moment an SUV plummeted onto the M5 at Bexley has been shared online. The white Nissan rolled from an overpass after the driver lost control while entering the Bexley Road on-ramp earlier this month. He was left with head injuries.
And other reasons emerged for delaying the opening of the Parramatta light rail. Tests show rookie drivers are too slow, running up to 4 minutes late between Carlingford and Westmead.
We can't promise perfection. What we can promise and what we aim for is wonderful public transport when it's all done and dusted.
Power supply and software glitches still need sorting apparently before an expected opening at the end of the year.
It is described as one of the strongest property markets in the world, and it seems huge price surges on Sydney's lower North Shore are being driven by a fear of missing out on something unique.
Imagine this every day. A multi-million, make that $20 million view. The outlook is bright, but interiors are dark.
With the style that they put in here, it's quite commercial. And that's what people are really loving about it.
You can wander upstairs of steel, sleep against mirrors, bathe in stone.
You just don't see these very often in homes like this.
Bold features everywhere you look in this 4-bedroom home in Caraba Point. Rooms spill into each other.
The way this has been designed, it's bedroom accommodation and also entertainment.
No privacy, no worries. Close to Caraba Point, homes around Neutral Bay have increased on average by more than $1 million in 5 years. The same at Cremorne, Lavender Bay and Mossman.
The lower North Shore is one of the strongest performing property markets in Australia.
And it's attracting big money, particularly from overseas. Buyers might not even live in these homes full time.
When we do see people migrate here, often they do have significant funds to invest in housing. If people do have a lot of money, investing in property in Australia does make sense.
Experts say the price of property properties like this will always go up because they rarely come onto the market, triggering a fear of missing out.
They might not see something else like it for another 10 or 15 years.
As prices continue to climb by the millions. Angelique Opie, 7 News.
The final victim of Britain's Southpaw stabbing attack has been laid to rest. 7-year-old Elsie Stankham was one of 3 girls killed at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class last month. Mourners heard that Elsie brought light, love and joy to so many lives. Her favourite Taylor Swift song was played as she was farewelled.
Romeo, save me, I've been feeling so alone, I'll keep waiting.
Her parents wanted her friends to celebrate Elsie's life, and hundreds of people lined the street to say goodbye. It's an attack that's raised the stakes in the Middle East. An oil tanker in the Red Sea bursts into a fireball. That's next.
We head to Condobolin, where women are bringing decades of tradition into the 21st century.
Pure joy for a mother with a bouncing baby boy.
And ahead in sport, the Bulldogs are back in the finals and know they are genuine title contenders.
Rescue crews have discovered the final body from a super yacht that sank off the coast of Italy. 18-year-old Hannah Lynch died alongside her father Mike Lynch, the owner of the yacht and a tech billionaire. The vessel sank off Sicily on Monday when it was hit by a wild storm. The tragedy claiming the lives of 7 people.
Fire has broken out on an oil tanker in the Red Sea. Yemen's Houthi rebels have released a video of several explosions on the Greek-flagged vessel. An international maritime trade body confirming its crew had already been evacuated after an earlier attack. The oil tanker is now believed to be drifting. When Miss Condobolin was crowned at the country show today, it marked a new era for an old tradition. For 6 decades, local women have been entering the pageant, but with numbers dwindling, they've had to evolve to bring it into the 21st century.
In 1962, 20 young women entered Sydney's first Miss Showgirl competition. Embodying the grace and spirit of rural life, these ambassadors represented the heart and soul of their country towns. Diane Williams was the first Condobolin showgirl in 1963.
I was thrilled because finally Condobolin was being noticed.
Today back in her hometown, where for the last 60 years this community has rallied behind their daughters, sisters and friends on the showground.
I think we're the only mother-daughter combination.
But it was never supposed to be about manufacturing beauty queens, now renamed the Young Woman Competition.
It's not a contest for people who can sing and dance and kick up their heels. It's got nothing to do with it. And so I think it's a timely name change and a good idea.
Past contestants coming together in their pearls and sashes, hoping to boost the number of entrants.
You really can be anyone doing anything, and it's about championing the future leaders of our community.
Each regional town has its own unique character, and it's country shows like these that help preserve the traditions that define places like Condobolin. But they're also a chance to envision a brighter future for the generations to come. This year's Miss Condobolin, today named under the watchful eye of the woman crowned 60 years before her. Amy Clements, 7 News.
Well, 5 men in a speeding four-wheel drive have fled after slamming into a parked car in Sydney's inner west overnight. The crash badly damaged a Mini Cooper parked on Balmain Road in Rozelle.
I heard a massive screech and a bang, so I came out onto the balcony and saw a four-wheel drive facing this way with the entire front caved in.
That four-wheel drive was taken away by police. The men have not yet been caught.
He might weigh 60 kilograms, but this baby boy is as cute as a button. A rare southern white rhinoceros calf's been born at Victoria's Werribee Zoo. The little fella is just the second rhino born at the zoo in a decade, and so far he is flourishing.
Mother and calf are bonding really, really well, and she's being an amazing mum, really protective of it.
Mum Kepenzi's first calf tragically died, so this latest birth is a little bittersweet for zoo staff. Beautiful news.
Indeed.
Well, there is new hope for Australians suffering a devastating form of cancer. A drug that can literally save lives is now much more affordable.
Former Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson has a new venture and it's running a country pub.
And soon in sport, with a gift from the Eels, the Broncos are promising they will be there in September.
I think I've made a mistake, yes.
It can't all be rumours though, John. It can't all be rumours and it can't all be lies.
On 7 News Spotlight, John Setka breaks his silence.
There are people that want you dead.
Probably.
So there are bikies in the CFMEU.
Well, I'd assume there is.
And now, the secret deal that will make headlines across the country.
What's the truth about why you resigned from the CFMEU?
All News Spotlight, Sunday.
It was home to one of Sydney's most infamous figures, and now it's about to be sold. The Lidcombe house of former Auburn Deputy Mayor Salim Mahaja is being listed for sale, but he won't be the one making a profit. It's up for a mortgagee in possession sale years after he was declared bankrupt. It features 6 bedrooms, a 13-car garage and a Persian onyx staircase.
There's been a major breakthrough in the treatment for Australian patients suffering an extremely rare and extremely aggressive cancer. Its shortened name is VHL, a cruel genetic mutation causing multiple tumours. But now a miracle drug that attacks those tumours has been approved for affordable use here. Lana Hallows has for too many years fought to stay alive. She has von Hippel-Lindau syndrome, or VHL, a genetic, often inherited mutation causing aggressive tumours.
I've had 4 brain surgeries. I lost my hearing in one ear from that. I've had a spinal cord surgery and I've learnt to walk again.
Australia's 500 VHL patients have fought hard for this drug, belzutifan, to be approved on the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme. It shrinks the tumours and prevents surgery. Overnight, news, the fight was won.
Just overwhelmed, just absolute sheer joy.
Belzutifan costs patients $12,000 a month, a staggering $144,000 a year. On the PBS, that cost per month will come down to just $31.60 or $7.70 on concession.
We're lost for words, actually. It's so exciting.
CEO of Neuroendocrine Australia, Meredith Cummins, led the fight with the politicians.
It's going to make such a difference to so many lives.
Ryan Harding's had 6 major spinal surgeries. His brother has the gene. His father died because of it. Now he has hope.
Potentially no more surgeries are coming my way, and I have the opportunity to look forward to the future and actually start making some plans with my life.
This wonder drug should be on the PBS by Christmas.
This troll of a disease, and it is a troll, it attacks you again and again and again, and it's relentless. This troll of a disease will be controlled.
What a wonderful breakthrough. Well, British TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson is embarking on a new venture. From learning how to be a farmer with his hit show Clarkson's Farm, he's now opened a pub and hundreds have queued to step inside on opening day. He's pledged to only sell food sourced from British farms.
Why do you feel so passionately about it?
Because I've been doing it 5 years, it's really difficult.
The pub is called the Farmer's Dog in Oxfordshire. Despite its opening day popularity, the former Top Gear host says he doesn't expect to make a profit. A volcano in Iceland has erupted for the 6th time since December. A state of emergency has been declared after the latest eruption, which has resulted in several earth tremors and forced the closure of nearby roads. However, the local fishing town of Grindavik is not under threat. He is the biker riding coast to coast, all in the name of community. Still to come, we meet the man whose cross-country adventure has turned into so much more, how buying a football kicked off a mission like no other. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But first, Matt is here with Sport. Matt, good evening to you. The Bulldogs, they are embracing the hype.
Michael, Angie, get to Belmore at some point over the next month because it's the place to be in Sydney, that's for sure. They tell us how they've gone from a total mess to premiership contenders again. That's next. Also, big matches in the finals race. Penrith stunned by Canberra as the Storm played a seal top spot. And the Dragons say their momentum's just starting before tomorrow's grudge match with the Sharks. Tomorrow on Weekend Sunrise, accommodation scam.
Are hackers behind your next holiday? The latest warning to travellers. And new signs of burnout. The common aches and pains sounding the alarm bell. Weekend Sunrise from 7 a.m.
The Panthers' chances of winning the minor premiership copped a savage blow in Canberra this afternoon. The Raiders' finals hopes again have a pulse thanks to an incredible 22-18 upset over the Premiers.
A Jerome Luai pass produces a season changer.
Intercept! Timoko away! Chase is led by Luai! He'll give it to the sprinter! Savage! Canberra go 100 metres!
I know they got that in them. I know I've got a football team here and we're going to keep growing and building and we've got to build off that.
A length of the field try, Canberra 22, Panthers 18, reviving the Raiders' slim finals chances. Penrith, the chance of dropping out of the top two.
You want to make sure we're performing well and sort of in form at the right end of the season, so that's something we'll be chasing over the next fortnight.
The injured Nathan Cleary into Hood. English import Elliot Whitehead's 204th and final home game for Canberra, worth a clap. Penrith always appeared in control. Dane Laurie finding just enough green before white. Cue the Panthers' big men.
Yo breaks through. Great pass. Fisher Harris. Out of nowhere, Penrith.
But the Raiders gave their all. Try scorer Xavier Savage tackling till the end. Penrith's final two opponents, Souths and the Titans.
Whatever it is, and we'll be ready.
Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
A Dolphins loss tonight will really help the Raiders, and they are doing it tough against would-be minor premiers Melbourne. Nelson Asafa-Solomona limped off with a cork thigh. The Storm Hookers' 7th try this season was too easy.
Grant gets over. Harry Grant just helps himself to a four-pointer.
Repeat offender Felice Kafusi reduced the Dolphins to 12 men at half-time. Melbourne 22-0. Beware of the Dogs in their first finals appearance since 2016. After scraping past Para, the Broncos promise they'll still make it. 34-18 in Auckland, the Bulldogs are fighting for top 4 but will miss their captain for a week. Arriving home tonight after a stint as the NRL's Road Warriors.
Townsville, Brisbane, back to Sydney, Bundaberg, over to New Zealand.
And into the finals with 2 home games to start the party early.
Our fans, I think, are going to be really excited to see us play. The style of play we're playing right now, Bill Mills, I think, is going off again.
They crashed an emotion-charged home farewell to Sean Johnson, but Stephen Crichton's facing a week suspension. Down 18-16, 34 to go, Crichton wasn't sin-binned for concussing Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
We've got to protect our players. And I just don't see the consistency one little bit.
10 from 12 since Magic Round, matching the Storm. Canterbury are genuine contenders.
Total commitment to what we're doing. You can see it out there. You can see the love they have for each other. And it's just a privilege to be a part of it at the moment.
From 16-0 up to their 17th defeat from 22, Trent Barrett can laugh because the Eels aren't his problem after 2 more games.
Yep, there's dumb things there that we did that put us in a position to lose.
The Broncos need to beat the Dolphins and Storm and at least one Dragons loss to make the finals.
There's no if here. We're going to make the finals. We will make the finals, but we've got to play well next week against Redcliffe.
The 8th place Dragons host the 4th place Sharks in Wollongong tomorrow afternoon and feel momentum building.
Yeah, I do. It's something that I knew could happen. It's been a real club effort and, hopefully we've got a bit to go.
It's one of those games you want to be a part of and I think it's a really good time to get a game like this.
The Knights women killed time during a delayed kick-off with a dance battle before superstar fullback Tamika Upton starred against Parramatta at Marylands. This was one way to stop her. 36-16 Newcastle swapped 3rd and 4th with the Eels, both 3 from 5.
It is a special from the Dally M medal winner, Tamika Upton.
28-18 winners in Canberra. The Cowboys are also 3 from 5. The Swans can seal the minor premiership and have a taste of things to come in the AFL finals tonight. Before the warm-up and walk to the SCG, gun midfielder Errol Goulden spoke to Swans TV for 7 News.
We obviously want to build nicely into finals, so it's kind of a last dress rehearsal really, but we want to make sure we get something out of the game. It's been great to see the crowds we've been getting this year, and it's pretty busy out there now, so just going to make the walk over and hopefully see a few fans.
They're coming up live on 7 at 7:30. Today, Hawthorn sealed their return to finals and Geelong clinched a top 4 spot with big wins. Ahead of next weekend's $25 million Tour Championship, Adam Scott's painstaking mission to hone in golf's most glorious swing hit its mark. A course record 9 under par 63 second round to lead the BMW Championship, hunting his first Tour win in 4 years.
I feel like I really don't have anything to lose this week. Of course, I'd love to make it to Eastlake, but now I'd love to win this event.
Ludwig Oberg matched Scott's record round but trails by 4 shots. Behind by 10, a clearly frustrated Rory McIlroy threw his 3-wood into the water. Just coming up here, there it goes. 3 Aussies will surf for world titles at next month's Tour finals after falling in the Fiji semis. Molly Picklum lost to 17-year-old wildcard rookie Erin Brooks. Coached by the king, Kelly Slater, Brooks claimed a maiden contest. Olympic silver medalist Jack Robinson and Ethan Ewing go to the top 5 decider, ranked 3rd and 4th. Griffin Colapinto took out the men's title. World number 1 Yannick Sinner has now fired his trainer and physio over his doping scandal, blaming them for inadvertently giving him steroids. The Italian will play next week's US Open, adamant he has done nothing wrong. In Finland next week, 2 Australian teams will play World Championships with giant strides towards LA 28 in the newest Olympic sport. From Aussie players to the NFL Commissioner, there's certain flag football doesn't just belong, but must stay for Brisbane 2032. Of all the sporting heavyweights who went to the Paris Olympics, few yield the power of Roger Goodall, NFL Commissioner, with its near $20 billion annual revenue.
We're the great convener in the United States because people come together around football and celebrate.
But the inclusion of America's modified game on the LA program raised sceptical eyebrows.
This is a truly global sport. The simple answer to who's playing the game is 20 million athletes. Men, women, boys and girls. Wait for Cody Fuller's performance for Team Australia at the World Championship in flag. She'll be outstanding as well.
This is Cody Fuller, one of the best in the world.
The skills that we have in flag football are very transferable, so it's a good sport to play if you come from any sporting background. The ultimate goal is to have your sport be in the Olympics, and the ultimate goal is to go to the Olympics.
And unlike breakdancing, keep it there. This is Team USA House in Paris. As always, at every Olympics, the American presence is huge, it's imposing, and they get what they want. And one comment from the Brisbane Games boss has been well noted in here.
I think it'll be a stretch to find AFL in there, but LA found flag football, so who knows?
We believe that obviously LA 28 is going to be a success. We want to be a big part of that. And we think we will be.
I hope more than anything that it's part of Brisbane 32.
Fuller's one ace up their sleeve, so's the new NFL Academy, not placed in southeast Queensland by accident, built to develop Olympians and the next Jordan Mailatas.
He's seen as a hero there in the United States because he's come from Australia, but also he's playing at the highest level.
Super Bowl or Olympics, giving a new generation of Aussies stars and stripes in their eyes. Interesting to see what happens there, but also the Bulldogs. Rugby league is better when they're in the finals.
What a difference a year makes for them too.
Amazing. Yeah.
All right, Matty, thank you. Well, an epic adventure has turned into a fundraising drive for a Victorian man calling himself Australia's Forrest Gump.
He was on a spontaneous ride around the country when he stumbled upon a football and a worthy cause.
An unplanned journey turned charity crusade. Paul Burke left his home in Geelong to see how far north he could ride in an afternoon. He stopped in Cairns.
I just kept going, Forrest Gump style.
The spontaneous trip took on a new meaning when he bought a footy.
I decided to start kicking goals around Australia. I thought it'd be fun to kick 100 goals around Australia, which is not easy, believe me.
Visits to local grounds often came with visits from locals, keen to have a kick.
Oh, you beauty!
Plenty of talent, but none had boots.
I thought, you know what? Let's get more footy boots on kids in the outback, and we've got almost $15,000 now.
A month and 14,000 kilometres later, Paul determined to put a pair of boots on every kid in the outback.
So to open up a box of brand new boots, they're crying. They can't believe it. So it's been, so I get emotional about it because it's been a great journey.
The last week of the tour today starting here in Perth, Paul heads south and then east back home towards Geelong, but even then, he says his work is only just getting started.
I'll repack, put a swag on the back, and then my sister and a good mate of mine is going to be driving a forward drive behind me. And we're stopping at sports stores all over Australia, and we're going to try and get as many boots as we can in the back of that forward drive.
Lockie Burns, 7 News.
Fantastic work. Well, Amber's back with the forecast now. Amber, loving this warmth. How's it looking tomorrow?
Well, Angie, cloudy skies are forecast tomorrow. There's a chance of a shower or two, but we can expect plenty of warm, sunny days next week. The details are coming up next.
A powerful magnitude 4.5 aftershock has rattled the Hunter Valley barely a day after a destructive earthquake.
Police have few answers after the discovery of a man's body in an Auburn park.
Sydney's new metro has officially passed the 1 million passenger milestone less than a week after opening.
And Robert F. Kennedy has dropped out of the US presidential race and endorsed Donald Trump.
Now, here's Amber with Sydney's weather.
Thank you, Angie. We do have cloudy conditions forecast across the city tomorrow, but it's still looking warm, with temperatures to continue heating up during next week. It's still pretty warm in the city right now too, hovering around 23 degrees. We reached that top of 27 this afternoon. That's almost 10 degrees above average, but across the board, temperatures were significantly warmer than what we would normally expect during August, reaching 28 to 29 degrees in large parts of the city. It is all due to a hot air mass spreading from central Australia. A series of troughs and cold fronts set to cross the country south over the coming week will continue to push that unseasonal heat and gusty winds into New South Wales. The most significant of those fronts is due to arrive late Tuesday into Wednesday, generating some very windy conditions for Sydney. But around the capitals tomorrow, a mostly sunny top of 29 degrees is forecast in Brisbane. Showers increasing in Canberra, tops of 21. Showers are also likely from late morning in Melbourne, tops of 23. Adelaide showers becoming windy and 20 degrees. A cloudy 20 degrees forecast in Perth. Statewide, scattered showers are likely across the southern inland and ranges, spreading east and north during the day. Temperatures, though, should remain well above average, reaching the low 20s in parts of the state's northwest. Above average temperatures are also set to persist across Sydney tomorrow, though under cloudy skies, it is looking a few degrees cooler than today. Tops are set to hover around 25 to 26 degrees, 23 along parts of the coast, with a chance of light showers during the day. On the water tomorrow, winds should run west to northwesterly at 15 knots to start, before tending northerly and increasing slightly during the morning, reaching up to 25 knots offshore during the evening. But back in the city tomorrow, under those cloudy skies, 25 degrees is the forecast top, with another warm night ahead, reaching 16. The sunshine does look set to return, though, for the start of the working week. Forecast tops should hover in the mid to high 20s, looking warm and windy on Wednesday, with those westerlies expected to reach up to 55 kilometres an hour during the day. But the heat persists. Take a look at next Friday, reaching 28 degrees across Sydney. It looks like winter has really made an early exit here, Angie and Michael.
Well, we'll look forward to it as well. It's a week ahead. All right, Amber, thank you. Well, before we go, here's a look at a series of special reports we have for you next week.
On 7 News, Selling Australia. The nation's biggest ever property report.
The market has gone absolutely ballistic.
The suburbs where prices are set to soar. How you can cash in. 5 nights, 5 stories. On Sydney's 7 News next week.
And that is 7 News for this Saturday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening.
Weekend Sunrise starts from 7 tomorrow. From all the 7 News team, thank you for your company.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.